Beautiful rising ladies. Hey Dominique. I hope y'all are having a beautiful morning, y'all. We're gonna get into the energy. Today's a beautiful day, y'all. Second day. Look, did anybody get any April Fool's jokes played on them? Because I told my kids don't even try it. I'm like, don't even try. I don't hear nothing about no April Fool's jokes. I hope you guys are having an amazing morning, y'all. We'll give everybody a moment to join in today's live. I think I want to start with the secrets of the ancestors deck. All right. We want to talk about ancestral truths. All right. So with the energy that's taking place today, y'all, and this full moon energy is really revealing the truth of some of the relationships, all right, that we've had in our lives. Let me go cut my air down, y'all. All right. So many times what we don't understand or fail to understand as a collective is that a lot of the karma, right? A lot of the relationship challenges that we face actually have a lot to do with ancestral healing, y'all. You know, it's the same things that your ancestors face, right? It's same types of relationships that your grandmother went through, right? Or that your great grandmother went through. So the thing about life is this, y'all. Life is cyclical, right? Beautiful rising, Emily. All right. The thing about life is cyclical, right? So there's nothing that you're ever gonna face in this lifetime that somebody in your family or your lineage has not already faced, right? So whether it's this generation or 10 generations back, there's nothing new under the sun. Like literally, y'all. You know how you have old styles and now the styles come back? And I'm thinking, I wore bell bottoms as a little girl. But then guess what? So did my mom. But then guess what? Now it's back for my kids, right? So what you got to understand is that everything in life is cyclical. So when you get to the understanding of whatever that cycle looks like, that's how you break, right? Those ancestral, I'm seeing 777. That's how you break those ancestral ties, right? Or generational curses. It's all the same thing, y'all. So today we're going to talk about a little astrology. We are in the height, y'all, of this full moon energy. So the full moon peaked last night about 10:12 or 10:11 p.m. Eastern. All right, so that was the peak of the full moon last night. Now, what's being illuminated today is really the deepest truths in your relationship. See, Libra is the sign of partnership. And while the sun sits in this independent Aries energy, right? This also creates a cosmic tug of war between me and we, right? What is it that you want versus what is good for the we, right? And many of us, that's the true relationship struggle, y'all, right? Think about it. The true relationship struggle in all relationships, y'all. Right? I talk about relationships, but it's not just the relationship with your husband, your wife, your partner, right? Your divine union, it's every relationship in your life, right? Your children, your job, right? Whatever relationship that you as the collective is building, right? This is the energy. So what you have to understand, there's always a tug of war between me and we, right? What is good for me where I am now versus what is good for we. And you got to be able to balance that, y'all. Sometimes you'll make decisions in your relationship, right? Where it's for the greater good of the union, right? Versus just one person. And you know, 9 times out of 10, it is the divine feminine, right? Who has to look, right, and change her perspective. Why? Because the divine masculine is the 3D lead, and you cannot change your physical reality. But what you can change is your perspective. And that's the balance of me and we. What does that look like? Beautiful rising, y'all. Let me drink my coffee. So what does it look like, y'all? If you feel like you have to make a decision in any relationship and it is sacrificing any of who you are, then you are to make that decision based on the me, right? The greater good of you. But if you're in a union and you understand the overall outcome of what the masculine is doing is for the greater of we, then you allow the we, right? So it's really about you, divine feminine, changing your perspective, right, of whatever that is. So today, y'all, with this still in this pink full moon energy, because it will be this day, way about 3 days, y'all. All right, you stay in the full moon energy, the complete full moon energy for about 3 days, right, before it really begins to dissipate. All right, so what you got to understand is now through the weekend, right, there may be a slight tug of war because you're going to have to decide what is best for me and we, right? And if you have been people pleasing to keep the peace, right? Many of us people please to keep the peace. So now the universe is asking you to look at yourself and say, have I been people pleasing to keep the peace? See, this full moon is exposing those imbalances, y'all. That's what Libra is about. So it's time to find true harmony. And true harmony only comes with the truth, y'all. True harmony only comes with the truth. And sometimes that's about you, right? Really seeing some of those deeper truths about the relationships that you are in, right? So maybe you've been keeping people around you that you know you should have let go a long time. So the deeper truth is why, right? See, the deeper truth is always your why, right? Your truth is never outside of you. You don't keep people around you so that you can see the truth of who they are. No, you keep people around you so that you can see the truth of who they are. And when you see the truth of who they are, then you decide what you want to do with it, right? So that's what the energy is, y'all. So you might wake up this morning feeling emotionally generous, right? But be careful of overindulging, right? Because that is the full moon energy. So let me tell you, if you are a naturally giving person, see, the thing about full moon energy, y'all, is it intensifies the energy of who you already are at the cosmic level, right? So if you are already a giver and you're in the full moon energy, then you may want to continue to give to a situation that God is saying, don't give no more, right? So you have to be cognizant of what's taking place in the energy, all right? So by the time, now all day, y'all, Venus is squaring Pluto. All day, Venus squares Pluto. So the planet of love is actually clashing with the planet of transformation. This intense energy brings up power dynamics and deep desires, right? It's a truth revealing transit, y'all. That is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, y'all, right? This is a truth transit, right? That is asking for passion and integrity, right? Be in a relationship that is passionate, but does it align with your integrity? Right? Be in relationships with people that you can have fun with, right? But does it align with your integrity? So that's what the transit is taking place, y'all. All right. Mercury is in Pisces. So that's why communication is highly emotional and intuitive right now. All right. Allow your communication to be intuitively led, right? Because intuitively led conversations are led with God in mind. What is God saying, right? What is my intuition saying? What is my third eye saying? All right. So if you indulge in conversations today, allow your intuition to lead these conversations. So don't assume, right, your partner can read your mind. Express your feelings. All right. Do not, right, feel like your partner can read your mind. All right. Because that's not always the case. Now, y'all, we're going to pray that YouTube don't act stupid today because I see that it's glitching. All right. So if it cuts off, I always try to come back on, y'all, because I don't know what's up with YouTube in the mornings. All right. Maybe too many people be live, child. All right, so let's get into the energy, y'all. So today's energy is all about courageous connections. All right, be courageous. Have the conversations, y'all. Express your feelings clearly. All right, the universe is asking you to take a small risk. All right, say what you mean. All right, send that message. Initiate the meaningful conversation. All right, true peace, y'all. It requires active listening and sometimes facing the conflict head on. All right, let's get into the energy, y'all. Welcome to the live. This is your daily guidance, all right? My daily guidance is always based on astrological transits. Today, we are still in that full moon energy, all right? Passions are being ignited. Your first message, represented by the number 26. All right, 2 and 6 is 8. 8 is manifestation. Someone you could be a life path 8. But this is the father of fire, right? So this is about you, right? Your ancestors, right? This could be a masculine ancestor for someone who is now you're beginning to experience some type of passion within you, y'all. That's the energy of the fire horse, right? That is you understanding now that you want to move on, y'all. right? As you begin to elevate, the passion inside of you, it never dies, right? So that's why you're feeling this pull, right? This tug of war energy to move forward. And that's why you have to dissipate, right? Whatever is stopping you from moving forward. All right. What's the father of fire? What's the next message? Mother of air. Boundaries. Y'all stop playing. I love it. Father of fire is passions ignited, but the mother of air is boundaries. What is that? Balance. Stop playing. Libra. Balance, y'all. See, you can have whatever it is that you desire when you become the mother of air. What is that? Speak clearly your truth and set boundaries. And it comes through communication. What is that? Air. So you could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, right? So I'm getting like Queen of Swords energy, right? Where sometimes you got to be honest about what it is that you want so that your passions can be supported. So I feel like the masculine energies are now beginning to understand their own passion, right? With the father of fire, while the feminine energies, right, are beginning to understand how to clearly state your boundaries, so that you can protect the little girl in you. Let's be clear, queens. As little girls, we had no boundaries. No one ever told you to defend yourself. No one ever said say no. And if you said no and someone breached those boundaries, you were told that you lied. Hello, you ain't being honest, right? So as a little girl, see this little girl on this card, you couldn't speak your truth. But now as this older woman, you can. And it starts with your boundaries, y'all. Beautiful energy. Yeah, right behind that is the altar of earth, right? Limitless prosperity. The altar of earth, y'all, represented by the number 37. All right. 3 and 7 is 10. 10 is endings, right? So sometimes you have to allow things to end. What is that? Set an altar for yourself. Understand that when you allow things to end, that is when prosperity, right? That is when prosperity is like the Ace of Pentacles energy, right? That's when prosperity can align, right, with you. But it's within you. And it's you, right? Understanding that the altar is within you. Somebody, this is grounding. All right. Maybe you needed to ground more, right? Somebody, you could be suffering from financial difficulties, but you got to understand this earth is your altar. Right? This earth is your altar, and you can have whatever it is that you desire in this earthly realm, but you have to remember, you got to make the earth your altar, y'all. There is limitless prosperity when you begin to make the earth your altar. All right. You got to set boundaries. What's the next message? All right. The peacemaker. I love it. Persistent patience. All right. Persistent patient. Let me tell you, somebody, you are always the peacemaker in your family is what I'm hearing. Yeah, but there is a trickster spirit around you. And the thing about these trickster spirits are, the trickster spirits always prey on the peacemaker. And that's why you have to exercise persistent patience. Because for somebody, it's like you are the one that you got to go fix stuff, right? You are the one that you got to be like, oh, look, if things are not going the way that I need them around me, I got to go and I got to make peace, right? I got to be the one to allow people to come to terms with the situations around them, right? No. That's a little ego, y'all. That's a lot of ego, right? Because what you got to understand is that you're not being called to be a peacemaker. You are being called to be patient enough with the situation so that the situation itself subsides, right? Like you don't have to step in and save people from themselves. What you have to understand is that you have to exercise a level of patience, because there is a trickster spirit that is around someone that shows you that, oh, I got to be the one to make peace, right? That's ego. Right? That's you usurping the authority, right, that God has, right? We ain't trying to be no peacemaker. All you got to do is understand patience with the people, places, and circumstances around you, because you cannot control that, y'all. Somebody, there are a lot of people around you that are wearing masks. And now, right, as you have stepped back and you are no longer that peacemaker, now it's easier for you to see the mask of other people. Y'all stop playing. When you stop being the peacemaker, you can easily see the trickster spirit, y'all, because now you taking 10 steps back and you realizing that I don't have to be the one to make peace. What happens? Now you see the disorder because you see the mask, y'all. You see the mask of the people around you. See, somebody, this is total disruption. Somebody, you are disrupting the mask that people are wearing around you wear. Total disruption. Somebody, you could be born on the 13th. Stop playing. Right? Right? That says Jumbi. Total disruption. Right? So now you have become the total disruption to the egos and the trickster spirits that are around you. Why? Because you stopped being the peacemaker. Y'all stop playing. You put that thing on the altar of fire. Right? You put it on the altar of fire. And as soon as you step back and you stop trying to be the peacemaker of everybody around you, now you can see the ego. Now you can see the tricksters. Now you can see the total disruption that is really taking place in people's lives, y'all. Let me tell you about your beautiful light, queens. Your beautiful light brings peace to others. So when you come around certain people, places, and situations, you will never truly see the chaos because your light, right, immediately allows some things to change. However, it cannot sustain because it's not authentic, right? It's like running on false, fake ass gas or something, y'all. Like it's not real, right? It's like that pretender energy, right? Imposter syndrome, right? You can only pretend for so long. So as the chosen, that's why you have to be patient, not the peacemaker. You ain't got to go in every situation trying to be the peacemaker, because at the point you shut up, you can see the mask, y'all. See, sometimes you make decisions based on what people are presenting you because you coming in trying to be the peacemaker instead of being the veil shit, and try instead of seeing exactly what it is that you need to see. See, if you're trying to make peace in a situation, you can't see the situation for what it truly is. Somebody, you was in a relationship and you've been trying to be the peacemaker, but if you stop trying to be the peacemaker, you'll see that this relationship isn't good. And instead of you making peace, ask yourself, why am I trying to make peace with a situation that is not what I want? And what God is asking you to do is just be patient. At the time that you are patient, right, with the situation, you ain't got to make peace, y'all. God will. All right, you ain't got to make peace. What is this energy of passion ignite for the masculine? All right, so the father of fire is coming up on the masculine energies. All right, what is this father of fire? Grief. All right, grief. So there's a masculine collective that is purging, all right, some type of grief. We'll clarify this in a minute, but it says passion ignites. I'm feeling the energy of the masculine collective who are now grieving the fact that they did not follow their own passions in life, right? See, as masculine, right, whether this is your masculine internal energy or an external divine masculine, many times, right, they have to continue moving on as if certain things in their life has not hurt them, is what I'm hearing. It's 737. All right, 737. 7 is spirituality. 3 is coming together, right? But you have to understand, right, that this grief, it says, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. This could be you, right? If you've walked away from a relationship, right, this could be your divine masculine, or this could just be them grieving, or you, your internal masculine, grieving the things that you've lost. It could be a sense of self, right? It could be a sense of self, right? So you may be grieving the loss of self, right? Or you could be grieving the loss of loved ones, of parents, right? See, the thing about the masculine collective, and if you are a feminine, right, but emotionally you operate as a masculine, you don't cry a lot, y'all. You don't cry a lot, right? That's feminine energy. So let me tell you, even if you're a woman and you don't cry a lot, then that means emotionally you operate as a masculine. So then that means that there is grief, right, that is built up in you. And when you have grief built up in you that you do not release, that impacts what? Your masculine chakras. What is that? Your root, your sacral, your solar. What is that? Your confidence, your money, and your creative passions. Right? So whether you are a man or a woman does not matter. It's more about the energy that you operate in when it comes to your emotions. Somebody has to understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And that is what the masculine energy is now understanding. And whether, again, that's the loss of you or someone around them, it's creating total disruption, y'all. That's coming right next to total disruption. Now, as the feminine, what you learning, child? Let's see. All right. What's mother of air? All right, what is the underlying energy? All right, for mother of air. What is the underlying energy for mother of air? All right, queens. All right, fear. Stop playing, y'all. Fear. Right? Because why don't we as women set boundaries, y'all? Because of fear. Why can't you set proper boundaries with your children? Because of fear. Why can't you set proper boundaries with your husband, with your family? Because of fear. Why you can't set proper boundaries with your raggedy ass boss? Because of fear. Let me tell you, if you feel like you're going to get fired because you set boundaries at your job, then you need another job now. Now. Right? So whatever this fear is, especially coming with this mother of air, which is boundaries, it's all rooted out of fear that you don't set boundaries, y'all. So as the masculine is beginning to examine the grief, the feminine, you are being asked to examine why you have not been able to set certain boundaries in your life, right? It says, I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Because why? Love and fear cannot reside. It's not possible, y'all. Right? It's not possible. Right? So love and fear cannot reside, y'all. These are your ancestors, y'all. This is the secret of the ancestors deck. These are your ancestors coming through to say, wait, right? For the feminine collective, your ancestors are saying you are here to cancel out the spirit of fear. And you do that by how you love. Not by how you run, not by how you hide, not by how you isolate, but how you can still set clear boundaries and love people, because love and fear cannot reside, y'all. But for the masculine collective, the ancestors are saying, look, you got to release grief. Why? Because they tell men don't cry. Hold on to it. Be a man, right? Do not allow your emotions and your feelings to come up, right? But this full moon in Libra is calling for balance. So you may be purging a lot, divine feminine, because you could be purging the emotions of your masculine. And let me tell you, most men, they don't let you see them cry, right? So if you just feel this wave of emotions out of the blue and you over here talking about, well, damn, why am I crying? Perhaps it is the man, the masculine that you are connected to, or you grieving for the little boy inside of you, queen, because we all have masculine and feminine energy. All right. So there's a trickster spirit. So I want to see what this trickster. All right. What is this trickster spirit? Because this is the energy between both the masculine and the feminine. And it says the trickster. What is the trickster? Ego and excess, y'all. Ego and excess. That is the trickster energy, right? It's rooted in ego and excess, right? Because the world tells you got to have everything, right? See, the world tells the masculine that they got to have a certain money money, right? They got to have a certain amount of money, right? They got to reach a certain level, right? That is the trickster and the ego spirit. But it's the same thing with the divine feminine. I got to know where we going. I got to know where we going to live. I got to know when we going to get married. Both of those are trickster spirits. Why? Because you ain't got to do none of that shit. Because this is relationships at the bottom of the deck. This is the trickster spirit. Why? Because pride is in the reverse. Right? What did we say, y'all? The trickster is ego and excess, right? It's pride that's telling you, you got to know what it is that you doing and if you going to get married and when y'all going to have kids and all of that, right? That's you wanting to have some level of validation. But let me tell you, if you and your person are on the same frequency, you already have the answers to all that questions. So what you got to realize is that you don't have the answers to certain questions because your person don't have the answer to those questions either. So instead of you pressuring someone to answer a question that they don't have the answer for, what you need to do is make the decision for your life, however you want it. It's not about what they want. It's about what you want. Relationships, y'all. So it says, I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. And what you got to realize is that God is always going to align you with people who serve your higher good. But if you were questioning it, then there is a trickster spirit. Because why? Are you not listening to God? Do you not trust and believe in God? Do you not understand intuitively what is being said? Right? So there are questions that you have to ask yourself when it comes to relationships. All right. Let's get one more clarifying card and then we're going to go to the tarot. All right. If you are enjoying the content, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, y'all. That's how the algorithm gets out so that more people can be alerted that I am live, right? I got 26 thumbs up and 43 people watching. Now, if you're not enjoying the content and you don't want to give it a thumbs up, then go away, because that's an imbalance of people watching versus thumbs up. Simple. I don't like imbalances. This is the full moon in Libra. Balance my shit out or click off. All right, let's get into the energy. All right. What's one more underlying to grief? Actually, no. I heard lessons. All right, hold on. So there is a divine lesson. All right. This is I just heard there is a divine lesson. All right, that's taking place between the masculine and feminine collective in order to balance out. All right, the energy is 744. All right, 7 is spirituality. 4 and 4 is foundations, y'all. And in order for the foundation to be set, there are certain lessons, right, that the collective have to learn. All right, so let's see. I want to see what the divine lesson for the masculine is around this grief. And then what the divine lesson is for the feminine around fear. All right, take it how it resonates. Both of these may resonate with you. Why? Because we all have masculine and feminine energy, y'all. All right, what is the underlying lesson of grief for the masculine? All right, we got aggressive animal energy. Wow. Aggressiveness, y'all. That thing says the host of the unseen. Aggressive. What is that? Men don't cry. Stop playing. It says this rare energy can take hold of wild animals or beloved pets. This energy moves unseen, latching onto the innocent, turning a loyal companion into a sudden threat. Somebody, your person is holding in a lot of grief. And when they get this grief builds up, they become very aggressive. See, a lot of times, y'all, we have to understand the underlying root of what it is that people are going through. You may be like, damn, who is this person? Y'all, because I'm looking at this card thinking, God damn, who is this person, right? But what you got to understand is somebody is holding in grief and it's pent up in them, they can get aggressive. So whoever this particular masculine is, they're learning a lesson because they become a totally different person, y'all. Yeah, it says this energy moves unseen, latching onto the innocent, turning a loyal companion into a sudden threat. It festers beneath fur and flesh, twisting instincts, driving hostility without cause. Are you facing an animal or what has taken hold of it? Be mindful. Animals are vessels too, and your beloved companions take energetic hits for you. Somebody, I'm also hearing a separate message. Somebody, you got a pet that died. That's significant. Somebody, you got a pet that still watches over you. And now they've given you like this sense of animal instinct, like somebody you smell, like your clairsentience and clair. That's what I'm seeing, y'all. Like somebody, whoever this passed on, this is a completely separate message. I'm channeling this. Somebody, you have a dog, a pet, some type of pet, but more specifically a dog, because I'm getting senses, or a cat, right? And whatever this animal passed, now it's like you have heightened senses. That's a separate message. Somebody, there's a lesson though for this divine masculine here to purge the grief, because this is a learned lesson, y'all. That's grief. And it's this underlying hostility, right? Hostility. Yeah. Soulmate is at the bottom of the deck with beautiful disaster. That's what this is, y'all. See, somebody says they felt like destiny, burned like wildfire, and left scars that would never fully fade. Their love was a mirror revealing wounds, fears, and deepest desires. Okay, this is what this is, y'all. So somebody, you are triggering the hell out of your divine masculine right now. You are triggering this person and they angry, y'all. Like somebody is angry with themselves and the anger is building up. Let me tell you something about anger, y'all. 43 and 34, that is a mirrored number. Stop playing. Right? 43 people and 34 thumbs up. There is a mirror that's taking place within you and your person. A lot of times, y'all, you will be protected. And that's when I say, if your person not calling, they not texting, you haven't seen or heard from this person, it's because you being protected, y'all. You don't understand what these men have to go through to purge the demons and shit that they have been involved with, y'all. Karmic clearing is a lot. And a lot of times you want, well, just talk to me, just talk to me. And then he cuss you out. And then your feelings hurt. And then you talk, well, damn, why are you talking to me like that? Because somebody is purging their demons. And you are triggering them, because that's what soulmates do. You come to trigger people, y'all, to teach them lessons. It says they felt like destiny, burned like wildfire, and left scars that would never fully fade. Their love was a mirror revealing wounds, fears, and deepest desires. The lesson: not all soul connections are meant to last. Some exist solely to force your transformation. Somebody, you could even be dealing with someone who is a soulmate that's simply here to force your transformation, not for a lifetime. And that's an issue that many of the collective don't understand, because y'all follow twin flame stuff so much you assume that this person you met is meant to be with you forever. But what if this person is a lesson? Because let me tell you, if this motherfucker is aggressive, then that's a lesson. That's not somebody you're supposed to be with. Take it how it resonates, because we are all on different timelines. But let me tell you, if you are dealing with a masculine who is hiding grief, and then they lashing out at you, then that's not somebody you can be with, right? So you have to assess where you are on this timeline, because kings have to purge all of this, but they don't take that shit out on you. They keep their space and they distance from you while they are learning these lessons. So I'm gonna tell you, if you got a toxic ass man that's lashing out at you, then that's probably a soulmate, y'all, that you learning a lesson from, not a twin flame. I've been with my king 5 years. We don't do that shit. When he was purging and going through dark night of the soul and all of that shit, and I felt, right, that he was a little snippy in his energy, we ain't do that shit. I ain't asked no questions, and he ain't come for no fights. We don't do that shit, y'all. So a real king is never going to come to you in the middle of their shit like this, aggressive and shit, because they holding on to grief. That's not what kings do. So somebody, you're learning a lesson about a soulmate. Total disruption. Total disruption. All right. Or this could be your person. Take it how it resonates, right? Masculine and energy. Energy is energy. All right. Let's look at the feminine energy. All right. What is fear? What is the divine lesson? All right. What is the divine lesson behind fear? Grand Rising, Kyra. All right. Chronic pain. Somebody, you having chronic shoulder pain and chronic issues in your body. It says chronic health. Yeah, pain. It says the lingering weight. It's fear-based, y'all. It's fear-based. See, whatever this chronic pain that you are suffering, it says this energy settles deep, intertwining itself into bones, nerves, and your breath. Somebody you can't breathe. Somebody you having asthma attacks. Somebody you got bronchitis, right? It says an invisible burden that refuses to lift. It drains, restricts, and lingers, feeding on frustration and fatigue. Somebody you frustrated, you tired. It says some days it whispers, other days it roars, but it never fully dissipates. Somebody you in pain every day. It never fully dissipates, y'all. It says, is it merely the body's struggle, or has something unseen rooted itself within? Are you actually carrying an ailment or an energy that refuses to release you? Self-reflection and healing is helpful to release the wounds that this type of energy masks itself as, or it will continue to fester and plague generations. Somebody, you in pain, but it's rooted in fear. That's that trickster spirit, y'all. That's the trickster spirit. Let's get one more on my divine feminine. All right, what is the lesson? All right, yeah, listen to your intuition, y'all. Girl, that thing say magic. Somebody, you under spiritual attack by a sibling. God damn, yeah. Somebody, you are under a spiritual attack by a sibling. And it's showing up as chronic pain in your body. Stop playing. This is the trickster spirit, y'all. That damn thing says sibling, reflection, spell, intention, energy, the magic. Let's read it, y'all. Damn. All right. That thing says, not all eyes watching you are physical, and not all hands touching you have form. This energy moves in silence, woven into spells and the muttering of unseen intentions, whether a blessing or a burden. Magic sent is magic return, for energy obeys no master. Y'all, somebody, you got a sibling or somebody around you who done said magic and that shit has been returned. It says the lesson can be understanding of universal law, learning of your true power, and activation of your awareness in the unseen. God is saying when you stand up and understand your power, all that shit going back, y'all. But let me tell you, that's coming up on the relationships. What is this? Siblings. Stop playing. That thing says through their mirror of your strength, your wounds, they reveal not just who they are, but who you are becoming, whether through love or rivalry. They challenge you to find harmony between keeping the peace and standing up for yourself. What did we say today, y'all, with this damn full moon in Libra? What did we say? The relationships, y'all. See, the full moon is exposing those imbalances. And you got to find what? True harmony. I don't make it up. I just read the energy, right? But it's not about them. It's about me, right? You are in the tug of war of me versus we. And the we can be family, the we can be your children, the we can be your king. It doesn't matter, y'all. It's these relationships, right? So while the divine masculine is understanding the disruption of their grief, right, of past relationships, y'all. This is what this is. See, this is a divine masculine who was in some type of aggressive ass past relationship and they still holding on to the grief. This is somebody who felt like they was with a soulmate or a twin flame, definitely somebody baby mama or ex-wife that they had a long-term relationship with, and this person turned them into a whole aggressive ass monster. And somebody is still holding on to the grief and the total disruption of that union. That is the masculine. For the feminine, you over here facing fear. Why? Because you got chronic pain in your body and you still giving to people, namely your siblings or your family or your children. Right? No matter what it is, it's like you got all of this pain going on in your body and you still giving to other people. But what is it rooted in, y'all? Fear. Right? It's rooted in fear. All of it is what? The trickster. Because it's magic. Stop playing, y'all. Stop playing. Trickster and magic. And what we as a collective got to understand, y'all, this is spiritual warfare. Did you think it was going to be easy? Did you think this was just about sunshine and loving relationships? Child, no. This is spiritual warfare, right? This is spiritual warfare. And that's why God is saying you ain't got to be the peacemaker. You just got to have persistent patience because God is always going to show you people, right? Somebody, this is magic. Spell work. And that's why this full moon in Libra, you have to maintain your balance because the spell work never works, y'all. It never works. But there is a heavy return to sender that's taking place in somebody's life. Stop playing, y'all. Heavy return to sender is taking place in somebody's life. Don't fucking play. As I pick up the tarot deck and I got the damn devil and the moon reversed. Stop playing. Spell work because of your strength. Because you keep coming back. Because you keep showing up. Somebody, you done tamed the lion. And whether that's your internal masculine that you have tamed or an external masculine, you have become someone's strength. Leo energy, y'all. But the devil and the moon in reverse, stop playing, y'all. Spell, intention energy, the magic that was sent at you. That's that trickster spirit. So a lot of times, y'all, when you know that you are dealing with the ego of your masculine, or you are sometimes showing up in your own ego, a lot of that has to do with spell work, y'all. Look, death at the reverse. Death in the reverse at the bottom of the deck, y'all. That shit don't work. Stop playing. The devil, the moon, and death. Stop. And temperance in the reverse. Major arcana, the fuck we got going on here, y'all. The devil in reverse, moon in reverse, temperance in reverse, death in reverse. And you thought you wasn't dealing with spell work. Stop playing. Stop playing. All because you strong. Stop playing. Hell, the only thing need to come out now is the goddamn magician, y'all. Stop playing. So somebody, whatever this is that you are building, you know it's something great, y'all. People don't come at you with this level of spell work unless you operated under this, y'all. What is that? The altar of earth. Limitless possibilities, right? Somebody, you are operating with limitless possibilities, and it's okay. I laugh at spell work, y'all. That shit funny as hell, because you know you holding the Bitcoin. Stop playing. I heard Bitcoin. Somebody, let me tell you about the market. The market is horrible right now, but this is the time to buy, right? Your stocks is horrible, y'all. Don't sell. Don't sell. If you losing money, I know, because I'm losing money too on this goddamn stock market. That shit is, everything in life is cyclical, y'all. Everything in life is cyclical. It ain't shit new under the sun, y'all. So I heard Bitcoin, right? Buy that shit while it's low, y'all. It's gonna turn. Limitless possibilities, y'all. Limitless possibilities. So somebody, what you're beginning to understand is that this trickster energy, this shit is spell work like a mug, y'all. Stop playing. That thing say death, temperance in reverse, the devil, and the moon in reverse. And this is for the masculine and feminine collective, y'all. Look, stop fucking playing. At the split, y'all, I can't make it up. Demonic influence, what I said, Leo energy. Strength card, y'all. It's because of your strength that you is crowned royal. What is you talking about, y'all? What are you talking about? Look at this Leo energy, y'all. Look at this Leo energy. And somebody burning evidence. They don't even want you to know that they've been sending this shit at you, y'all. And they whole life falling apart. Somebody's whole life is falling apart because they thought that you would never see what it is that they were sending. Somebody, you just found somebody who crazy. Shit, it's okay. Right? But it says Leo, royal energy flows through you, exuding confidence, leadership, and protective strength, like the Lion of Judah. Stop playing. But what's behind the strength card, y'all? The Seven of Swords. Stop playing. I cannot make it up. I could never, right? The strength. Your strength is pissing people off, y'all. Literally. Seven of Swords, straight deception. Straight deception. Somebody, you can work with these people. Three of Pentacles. Or people that said they wanted to work with you. Stop playing, y'all. Right? But it's whatever it is, it's something you were working on too, though, that's bringing you a lot of prosperity, y'all, with that Three of Pentacles energy. So somebody, Leo energy, is that royal energy. It is the royal energy. Hold on, y'all. I just saw a card that do not belong in this deck. All right? It is the royal energy, and people cannot stand it, y'all. They just can't. Y'all not get annoyed when I see stuff. There you go. That do not belong in this deck. And damn, y'all. This card do not belong in this deck. This is a tarot card in my oracle deck. And what is it? The Eight of Cups. Somebody, this is somebody that you walked away from. But it's many people, y'all. Many people. These are the people, the karmic people, Seven of Swords, Eight of Cups, and a whole nother deck, y'all. Stop playing, right? It's because you walked away from these people, y'all. Everybody that you walked away from, y'all, these people had demonic influences, and I heard you did it silently, right? You did it silently, y'all. Why? Because karmic justice is at the bottom of this damn deck. The rabbit got the gun. Stop. Justice is because you walked away. Now, people got to sit in their own energy, y'all. When people look like this and they got to sit with that, they can't stand the smell of their own shit. Stop playing. They can't stand their own shit, y'all. So as the chosen, take your power back and walk away from people, y'all. This full moon in Libra is doing what? Crowning you royal. Stop playing. It's crowning you royal. You're releasing the fear, right? The feminine is releasing the fear, and the divine masculine is releasing the grief so that y'all can come together in harmony, y'all. Demonic influences, y'all. But when the tables turn, those who once held power find themselves at a disadvantage. This is a shifting dynamic of the chosen, y'all. Let me tell you how the dynamic has shifted. See, 2025, y'all, was the year of the snakes. Karmics went wild, y'all. The karmics went wild in 2025. But this is the year of the fire horse. What we have built, y'all, is an altar of fire. What is that? Oh, it's good juju. Stop playing. That thing say good juju, right? You have now built an altar, and whatever it is that you desire is coming back. Why? Because you got that good juju. When you walked away from these crazy ass people, right? When you walk around from crazy ass people that you know hiding the fact, y'all, hiding the fact that they got strongholds and demonic influences around them, y'all. These are people that would have kept you just like this because they got this. And they never wanted you to see it. They were hiding, burning the evidence of who they truly were so that they could keep you in a stronghold, y'all. But somebody, you rose up against that. Yeah. This was an energy of control. Jezebel spirit, y'all. Leviathan, right? It's these strongholds, these people who want to literally choke the life out of you or the light out of you. They simply want to choke the light out of you because they ain't got no damn light of their own, y'all. It says someone may exhibit traits such as manipulation, deceit, and hostility, driven by envy, anger, and bitterness. They cause harm to themselves and others. This creates a toxic environment, leading to strained relationships and inner turmoil, y'all. And what you had to realize is that these people, they were a stronghold in your life. Why? Because they were exhausting you. Because they left you looking like this. You go visit a friend and come back home looking like this. You go sleep with that man and you come back looking like this. And then you realize that these people got demonic influences and all they are doing is draining every ounce of your energy, y'all. So somebody, you had to look up and say, God damn, why am I looking like this? Why am I aging? Why is my body hurting? I'm telling you, pain is here. Body pain, chronic illness. Somebody, you have been going through chronic illness and body pains simply because somebody attached to you was draining the fucking life out of you. And you talking about, oh, it's just my high blood pressure. It's just my diabetes. It's just my Crohn's disease. It's just my sickle cell. No, these are things that we naturally have in our body when we don't take care of our body. And then when you got people like this attached to you, everything in your body will flare up, y'all. Why? Because they're draining the life out of you. Somebody was exhausting you, y'all, spiritually, physically. Exhausted, drained, and fatigued, y'all. And these people will always continue to run from their shadows. All right? You got to rest and rejuvenate, y'all. Somebody, you've come out of something very difficult because whatever this is, it was a stronghold, y'all. Seven of Swords, deception. Someone could be an Aquarius. I got devil energy here, Capricorn, Strength, Leo. All right? But there was a lot of fears. Yeah. Somebody, the insecurities of these people are fucking exploding. I'm talking about it, y'all. Karmic's going wild. Okay? I'm talking about karmic's going wild, y'all. Let me tell you, right? The insecurities of the people around you are exploding because you are no longer bound by whatever the hell they threw at you, y'all. That shit could never stop you. You were the chosen. And they live in insecurities. And once you move away, y'all, from the demonic influences of others, they literally have to sit and look at their own insecurities and see why they can't get their own shit together, right? Why they got to pull off of your energy. It's their own insecurities, y'all. Somebody's emotions are exploding. Why? Because you got spiritual access that they never had. Stop playing. Stop playing, y'all. Somebody, you have spiritual access that these people could never have. Why? Because you got big Leo energy. Big Leo energy. What are you talking about? Right? That has given you spiritual access to things that these people could never have, y'all. They could never see, y'all. And let me tell you, somebody, you don't even see that you got a relationship coming together. Stop playing. Aries energy. All right. In Aries season. All right, is what I'm hearing. Somebody, you got a whole relationship that's coming together, y'all. It says unseen factor coming together. Somebody, you don't even see what God is doing in your life. Something is coming together, right? Aries season, Aries energy. But God had to purge what? The gold diggers first. You can't have gold diggers around you, y'all, with demonic influences. If you think God is about to bless you with all this fucking spell work, the moon in reverse, the devil, temperance in reverse, and death in reverse. Stop playing, y'all. Stop playing with these damn trickster ass spirits, y'all. You had to purge these people with demonic influences because they had spell work all around you. Y'all stop playing. Somebody who has been very silent wants to offer you an apology. All right, I just saw silence and I heard apology. Somebody, whatever this spell work was, it actually silenced. Yeah, stop playing. Judgment. And Crown Royal, this is the message I'm hearing. Somebody, there has been heavy spell work around your divine masculine's throat chakra. Heavy spell work, y'all. It's 808. 8 is manifestation and strength, right? 0 is the void, right? God had to step in judgment. Why? Because this is Crown Royal, y'all. I'm telling you, this is royalty. Leo energy. Crown Royal, y'all, with judgment. The silence was spell work, y'all. Let's be clear. There is some silence that is natural, right? As a man is working and doing certain things, it's natural. Some silence is not fucking natural. And let me tell you how you know. If you are a high priestess, and many of y'all that follow me, y'all readers, stop playing. So you know if God done told you 7.5 million times that this person is supposed to be communicating. Hey, y'all, I got 70 people watching, 43 thumbs up. If you are enjoying the content, please give it a thumbs up. All right. Now, you know God has told you a million times that this person is supposed to communicate. They supposed to speak. You hear the messages. It's resonating, but you still got silence. That's spell work. Stop, y'all. Spell work. God don't ever miss. God does not miss. Right? So when you understand that there are certain things that are supposed to take place based on astrology and the fact that God has confirmed it and it's not happening, it's spell work. Stop playing. Somebody, this was a trickster energy. All because of this Crown Royal energy and because you found your soul group. See, somebody, I'm telling you, these were people around you, demonic influences. And now that you found your soul group, everything is about to change, y'all. It says royal energy never settles. Let me tell you, somebody, the spirit that has been sent after you is a spirit so that you will settle for someone less than what it is that God told you is your person. Now, the person may not be a bad person, y'all. Somebody, you may decide to be with a soulmate, right? Versus your twin flame, right? But God is saying this: royal energy never settles. It carries itself with higher standards, embodying nobility, honor, and righteousness, rich in spirit. Do I believe if you are on a twin flame journey and you opt to end the journey and be with a soulmate, my life, my opinion, is that settling? Fuck yeah. If you cannot tell me God has shown you your person and you know this is your twin flame and you know this person is you in the other form and you say, I'd rather just go be with this person over here, that just means your ass don't want to put in the work. Stop fucking playing. So all of these twin flame readers that be talking about, I don't want my low vibrational toxic twin flame, is because you ain't completely healed. Why? Because when you heal, they heal. And that is the law. When I healed, my king healed. So for everybody that's still out here talking about they twin flame toxic, because you still got healing work to do. You are them and they are you. So if you don't want that motherfucker because he's toxic, it's because you still toxic. But your toxicity shows up different. It's rooted in fear. And that's what most women don't understand. He toxic in the 3D. He's still doing low vibrational shit in the 3D. But your toxicity is actually rooted in fear. Because why? I got to be vulnerable enough to be with this man. After I ain't been with nobody in 10 years. After everybody done dogged me out. I'd rather just be with my grandbabies. I'd rather just concentrate on my kids who grown. Them damn kids don't need you and them grandbabies don't need you either. Why? Because this is supposed to be your best life. So for every divine feminine who is on a twin flame journey, talking about you don't want to be with your twin flame, it's because you don't want to keep putting in the work and you scared of being hurt. Stop playing. Judgment. Because how the fuck God gonna show you your person and you say, but I don't want to be with that person? Okay, that's on you. My opinion, my life, because I'm in union. And I just could not imagine being with any guy body than my king. That's stupid. And was it hard? Fuck yeah. Did we have to heal and go through shit? Fuck yeah. But was it worth it? And is it still is every day? Fuck yeah. Because that's my blessings. I'm speaking in the Virgin Islands in September, y'all. Invitations come in every day. When you focus on your purpose, y'all, the point of the twin flame journey is for the divine feminine to focus on her purpose. When you focus on your purpose and everything that God has called you to do, your king come right along with your ass. You ain't got to worry about them damn men healing and doing the work. You heal and do the work. The twin flame journey is the divine feminine journey. They are simply a mirror of your work. And if you stop worrying about them and do the work, shit, I got a call yesterday. I'm going to the Virgin Islands. Somebody said, you want to speak in the Virgin Islands? Absolutely. When? September. I'll be there. I'm not saying, well, let me see if my king can come. Let me see if he got to work. Let me see what we can do. Fuck no. I said, yeah, I'll be there. Why? Because of course he doing big shit. So what are you talking about, right? So you got to understand God's judgment in your life and stop making decisions based on emotions, right? Cancer, right? And understand balance. Libra energy, y'all. All right, Libra energy. And it starts with you, divine feminine. And if you are still struggling on your journey, y'all, get my journal. It's on the website. I still got to get the classes loaded. I've been busy, so I want to try to get those up by the end of the week. But buy the journal, y'all. The Twin Flame Workbook Journal takes you every day. It asks you questions about you. It asks you questions about your journey for you to be able to examine. So you can say, damn, this shit might be a karmic, or damn, this is my person, but this is where they are, and this is where I am on the journey. As long as you know where you are on the journey, you ain't never worry about nobody else, y'all. Why? Because it's your journey. Why? Because they always gonna get the wake-up call, y'all. 11:11. They always gonna get the wake-up call. And that's why the divine feminine has to hold the frequency. It's not about them, it's about you, right? It's not about the conversation they want to have. It's about the conversation you want to have, right? 11:11, wake up call, y'all. So there's a masculine who is in soul recovery. All right, someone could be a Scorpio. Why? Because the fucking magic didn't work, y'all. I told you. Dark magic in the reverse. There is a masculine who is in soul recovery because they had to have a wake-up call, y'all. The magic in this reading has been insane. Magic is in the reverse. The magic, y'all. I can't believe this reading. Yeah. Liar, liar in the reverse. All right. But tokens from heaven. All right. So God is now showing somebody the lies and the manipulation of somebody around them. See, the magic don't ever work, y'all, but it does delay your journey. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and say that magic don't have no effect. It does. It cannot stop what God has put together, but it will absolutely delay it. It will. And that's why you have to stay prayed up. That's why you cannot be in your ego, because your ego get to harassing him. Your ego say, where we going? What we doing? When we going to get married? That's your ego, because y'all are fighting a spiritual battle. And it's already hard enough to fight it in the spirit. Now you got to fight with him in the natural because you want him to give you answers to questions that he does not have. If that man says, I don't know what we doing in 5 years, it's because he fucking don't know. And if that is not good enough for you, then walk the fuck away, right? But you cannot force someone into telling you what it is that they want when they don't know. Why? Because this is a soul's journey. And nobody knows the plan for anybody's soul other than God. And that's why you got to listen to God, y'all. You got to listen to God and stop trying to ask them questions that they don't have answers to. Because now all you do is push. Push energy keeps them running. And that is push energy, right? When you setting dates for vacations that you may or may not be able to take, right? When you planning for a future that ain't here. All of that is push energy. And you over here talking about, I just need to know. No, the fuck you don't. You really don't. Why you think you need to know? Ain't shit the king got prepared for us in 5 years got shit to do with me today. Nothing. So I don't know. I don't need to know what the fuck he got planned in 5 years. I don't need to know what the fuck he got planned next week. Because it's not affecting my today. Because I make plans for me in the today. And my life will align with what I do for me. So instead of y'all trying to make plans for y'all in the future, that's that me versus we, y'all. And that is what the moon, this full moon in Libra, is asking you today, y'all. This is today's astrology. Are you making decisions for me or we? And what do those decisions look like? Because sometimes, Queen, the decisions you need to make is for you. Because the we always comes with the you. I got to get out of here, y'all. All right, let me get you your advice for today. There is no TikTok live today unless I decide to do something tonight, which I likely won't because I'll be live on Friday. All right, Friday morning, and I'll probably just do a longer live on Friday like I did yesterday. So there will not be a TikTok live today. All right, I'll be back here in the morning, though, at 7:15 per usual. All right, for your daily guidance. And then on Friday, I'll be on TikTok at 9. All right, let me get you guys some advice. I got to take my baby to school this morning. All right, let's get some advice, y'all. Heavy spell work, y'all. All of this, it says spell, intention, energy, the magic. And that's something I got to make sure my queens understand, y'all. It's 818. 8 is manifestation. 1 is new beginnings, right? You got a new beginning coming, y'all. That's the spring, right? 414, April 14th is going to be significant. I want somebody to put that on your calendar. All right, April 14th is going to be very significant. Watch this date. All right, just put on your calendar. Watch this date. All right, all of this stuff that we go through as the chosen, y'all, most of it are lessons, but a lot of it, the shit spell work, y'all. All right, so you got to understand, people don't want to see you blessed. Shit, stop playing. People don't want to see you blessed. So you damn sure that they're going to come against your shit. All right. So let me get you guys some advice. All right. I guess I'll use this deck for advice. All right. You keep seeing 414, Dominique? Yeah, I actually was looking at my calendar this morning and I put it on my calendar, y'all. For some reason, I always, when I hear messages, it could be a year ago. I don't even know when I heard the message, but I put on my calendar, watch this day, right? And then let me be sure, let me check one thing, y'all. Yeah, I had to double check. And y'all know I keep my grandma obituary right over here behind me. My grandma passed on April 14th, y'all, of 2023, I think it was, 21. All right, 21. Yeah. So it'll be 5 years on April 14th. All right, that my grandma has been gone. And I know my grandma is my main spirit guide. Y'all stop. When my grandma passed, my whole fucking life changed for the better. I'm talking about for the. So my grandma say, I'm doing big shit for you, girl. And I say, yes, ma'am. Right? Yes, ma'am. All right. So April 14th is going to be significant. All right. April 14th is going to be significant to the collective. All right. What is your advice for today? All right. What is the advice for today? Oh, that's your mom's birthday? Oh, say that. Wow. All right. April 14th, y'all. All right. Your advice is stop overthinking it and just do it. All right. If there's a project, if there's something you're working on today, God says stop overthinking it and just do it. All right. No more thinking, no more planning. No more thinking, no more planning, y'all. It's time to just go on out there and do the damn thing, y'all. Do the damn thing, y'all. Do the damn thing. All right. In your advice, all right, it says be cautious of those who take more than they give. All right, be cautious of those who take more than they give. All right, don't be giving to people, y'all. What is that? Back to what we said today. Me, right? Me versus we, right? If people taking more than they giving, there is no we. That's just you. You just getting back what you gave them, y'all. Stop playing. That ain't no we. All you doing is getting back what you gave them. Child, you circulating your own damn energy. All right, the 6 of Wands is in your advice. It says you kind of a big deal. So start acting like it, y'all. I have to tell myself that every day, y'all. I'm kind of a big deal. But I'm not used to this shit yet, y'all. So I be like, damn, bitch, you got to tell yourself you kind of a big deal, right? So tell yourselves that, queen, you are kind of a big deal. Act like that shit, y'all. All right, what is the last advice? All right, what is the last advice? I have readings coming out on the channel today, y'all. All right, make sure you watch your channel today. I got readings coming out. All right, 2 of Pentacles in your advice. It says when life gets chaotic, find a way to get grounded. All right, if life gets chaotic today, find a way to get grounded. All right, the last 2 cards in your advice is the 8 of Pentacles. It says stop. Sorry, but fairies aren't going to come do all the work for you. That's about staying diligent, right? Because that came out also with this 8 of Swords, all right? So somebody, you got to start doing it. Stop talking about it and do it, y'all. Stop talking about it and do it, all right? And then your advice, tidy up your life so you can make space for something better, all right? Somebody, you might need to pack up some boxes, start cleaning up, y'all. What is that? Spring cleaning. Spring cleaning, y'all. All right, today is a great weekend with this beautiful full moon energy. It is a great weekend for spring cleaning. Get your Florida water, y'all. Light your Palo Santo. Open your windows, the front of the house and the back of the house, and let the wind blow through with your Palo Santo incense and mop your floors and clean your floors with Florida water. Invite this beautiful spring energy into your home. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. I will see y'all in the morning. All right, love and light as always, the Lady Empath 1111. All right, if you guys want personal readings, y'all know the website. All right, the Lady Empath 1111.com. All right, I have new bath products on my website. I also have 2 ebooks on the website. I have the hard copy of my book on the website. All right, as well as a plethora of readings. All right, and my classes will be on the website hopefully by the end of the week. All right, y'all, have a beautiful day, y'all.